It's Thursday, the last Thursday of August. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. We got Labor Day right ahead of us. I don't know what you guys have planned for Labor Day. I have a jam-packed weekend of goodness. So, Jared, what's your plan for the weekend?
Well, first, let's say thank you to our cousins at STL Sports Hub for lending us their studio today. In fact, we may have to get into some negotiations with the station because this is some pretty awesome digs right now.
You look good in that light over there, Jared.
I mean, it brings out my dark circle.
Excited about Labor Day. I think, I'm still in shock that we're not 110 degrees out in August. This, 58, 62 at night, a balmy 81 throughout the day. Let's carry that through the weekend. We've got some hockey practice or what we like to call hockey fun going on. And then Sunday, big day. Tillis Park, be there. Kickball tournament.
High school hockey kickball game.
Yes.
Full contact, right?
I'm going Pete Rose.
Nice.
I'm going Pete, and I may not be able to skate or walk after that, but we're gonna talk about it.
Well, and we're triad style again.
Absolutely.
So this is a continuation of the goodness we've had.
3 periods in a hockey game.
Right. We've had Rachel in the seat here, and we have Tyler today joining us from the Twin Bridges Association. Tyler Elbrecht, is the Twin Bridges director of hockey. So welcome to the show.
Longtime hockey player here in the St. Louis metro area. He did make sure that I knew he came up in Twin Bridges. He's an Illinois kid.
Oh, come on, don't lie. You went into Hockey DB. You searched and scoured his life before he came on. Well, I know you got some stats.
I mean, let's just say the guy's a strong left-handed, left-shot defenseman. Got a little physical. I think we got some triple digits on some PIMs in some seasons. But thank you for joining us today. We're excited as we continue our season preview. We've had Rachel Bartlett from Chesterfield. We've talked to Todd Brereton over at Kirkwood. Chris Durso, president of Missouri Hockey, was in studio last week, and we're looking to highlight and talk to the different clubs as we go into this season, understand what they're excited about, understand, the unique challenges that we all face individually as clubs, but collectively here in St. Louis, in the St. Louis area, in the Metro East area. But Tyler, without me going through your Hockey DB or your Elite Prospects page, tell us a little bit about you and your hockey journey and what's brought you to this point as director of hockey for Twin Bridges.
So obviously grew up playing on the Illinois side. Make sure that's in there. But played for Twin Bridges, played for AAA Blues growing up, and then from there played 3 years of juniors in the USHL and the North American League. I got to play at home, which was awesome. I'm super fortunate. I won back-to-back national championships. So
where's my bell?
Right.
I need my bell.
That was awesome, obviously. From there, I went to Minnesota State, spent 4 years there. Again, fortunately, I was captain 2 of those 4 years, and then
humble brag.
And then spent 6 years in the ECHL, where I did have a few fights, racked up a few fights. I only had 1 assist 1 year, so I had at least get in the hundreds for PIMS. And then from there, I've been training players since I was 18. Actually, I started my training business when I was 18. So that sort of just kept moving forward into becoming a hockey director 2 years ago at Twin Bridges, and it's just growing up with the amount of kids we trained and seeing different things. Sort of made sense to try to get in that route, and they were very inviting to it, and it's been good so far.
Well, I mean, we should have compared notes because I'm a left defenseman, so we're going to become fast friends here. Is your nickname Net Front with all those penalty minutes too? Well said. That's the place forwards come to die, right?
Anyways, I'm surrounded by defensemen, which means all they're going to be doing is complaining about back checking. And, exactly. I'm just like, guys, quit going D to D to D to out of the playoffs. Okay. Let's, there you go. Hardwood off. There you go. Half wall. Well, Tyler, again, first off, I think it's exciting when we see young hockey players progress, and then you've been all over, and I mean this, you've been all over the United States, not just the contiguous 48, but you played in Alaska, which I mean that had to have been, those are some rough nights. There's days where there's only 2 hours of sunlight.
Yeah, I thought I was really smart graduating high school early.
Yeah.
And then they said I graduated, and about a week later they're like, all right, well, you're traded to Alaska. So I graduated early.
Yeah, because you give at that point you give everything away.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got up there, and it was the first day getting off the plane. It was about minus 30.
Mm-hmm.
The coach said, I'm going to need a minute. And from there, it was go to the rink in the dark and leave the rink in the dark and figure it out.
I mean, is Scotty Gomez just like a legend in the state of Alaska?
Yeah, there's only
it's like every rink named out. Every rink is Scotty Gomez, and every basketball court is Trajan Langdon, right?
Yeah, there's definitely not many.
Well, we talked about some unique things about Alaska, but Tyler, tell us what are 2 to 3 unique things about the Twin Bridges organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, like we're medium sized. We're about 420 families or players, and I think one thing for us, unique wise, is like we were able to not raise dues this year, which I know that's not really like a hockey related on ice thing, but our dues stayed the same, which I think is pretty awesome for a youth organization, making sure that we're looking after our families. And we've also got it's not just me being the hockey director, like we've got a great 6U 8U director, so we're able to spread out our responsibilities so we can really know our families. And the other thing is, I think like I probably know every single kid and every single parent, so I like
that's awesome.
They pick up the phone and call me, I'll answer. When you get into bigger clubs or maybe clubs that the care factor isn't there as much, like it's just you don't get those things.
This is that time of year where you're probably fielding or getting ready to field some phone calls.
I fielded and I felt.
Let's talk. So the good news is it sounds like you've built up a lot of equity with your families. The challenges for Twin Bridges are probably very similar in some regards to the other clubs, but as you mentioned, you're a mid-sized club. There's some travel involved, even just to play. You're talking. It's not just 20 minutes away for most of your opponents. What are some of the other unique challenges that, as you've grown into this position, you were like, oh my God, as a player, I never thought I had to deal with this?
Yeah, I think number one is dealing with parents. And our parents are great. And for us, like we try to just tell them, like, just like the players said, like try to trust the process. It's easier said than done, obviously. But I think over the years they are seeing, I get more phone calls at the end of the year than I do sometimes at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Just saying like, hey, we, like, thanks for listening to us, but now we see like why my kid was placed here, or, because we try to do it where they're going to be successful, not where mom or dad think you should be. So I think as coming out of that, like I knew it was there, but sometimes it's a lot deeper and harder than what you think it's going to be. Especially if you have those relationships with people, because they're, for us, we put the friendships and that stuff aside and just do what's best for the kid and the club.
Let me give you a stat that you can take back. You can call it your own.
Here we go.
Take it back to your parents. So in Europe, over the span, I think of about 4 or 5 years, they did a study of 100,000 youth athletes. Okay. And they took them they gauged the demarcation line was 16U. So they looked at what levels these kids were at 16U. Were they below average, proficient, or elite, right? So think of the elite as like AAA or Central States. Okay. They then followed those kids. And once they crossed the 16-year-old barrier, they took a look again at those kids to see who was at all those levels. What percentage of the kids who were considered elite below the age of 16 were also considered elite above the age of 16? Take a guess.
I would say 3%.
7. And you could take that to your parents and say, if little Johnny or Julie is a B1 hockey player at 10 years old, that's actually awesome. Because let me tell you what the numbers and what science says. And I think that's something that as part of this theme that we've had in terms of previewing the season is this is the most stressful and anxious part of the year for everyone, kids, coaches, directors of hockey, and parents. And I think we're trying to, start a conversation across all these clubs, and hopefully people are listening that, have perspective.
Right.
You know?
And we try to tell people all the time, like in relation to the 15, 16 thing, like when you get to high school, that's where you'll sort of truly see who to be an elite hockey player or an elite athlete, as you said, because there's a lot more distractions, and it doesn't, I'd rather be the worst player on my team on a 10UB1 team trying to get better than an elite kid at 10 sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's another, it's a great point. Do you want to be the 12th forward or the first forward? And, there's a lot that goes into that. But you were an elite player. When did you start to, and I'm always curious on these perspectives, as most of our directors who have your role throughout the clubs all played Central States, AAA, and beyond high school. I remember having a conversation with Mike Richards when he first became the director for the Rockets. He's like, I don't know about the C&B level. And that was really his. And now he's like, that's where most of his focus is on helping to develop. What was your journey like as you've transitioned to this role?
Yeah. I mean, like for me, like I didn't even start hockey till I was 10, like didn't put skates on till I was 10 years old. So I feel like I relate a lot to people that are maybe the late bloomers. Like, yeah, I have the elite title, I guess, on me, but like I was always the worst player on my team. I mean, that's why I also had to fight so much.
We're in good company.
Yeah. So for me, so like I relate to those type of players. Like I'm a big, I'd rather see the sort of the comeback kid or the guy that just works his butt off to get there. And so I can relate pretty well to like even a C and B level player, just because I like so many kids can make a change from 12 to 18 years old, or I mean, even 15 to, you still have 6-7 years plus college to be something. So it's pretty cool.
Well, according to our Finnish and Swedish friends, and even USA Hockey 2 weeks ago on our show, you're not done developing as a hockey player until you're 23.
What about 35?
There you go.
How about 49?
53. Still developing.
Still
That's
developing.
what I tell myself.
They won't let me in his league though, because I'm still under 50.
Nah. Well, okay. So we were talking about some stressful things there for a little bit, but we've also spent a lot of time with Bob Mancini at USA Hockey. I'll say it again. I think his middle name is Fun, Bob Fun Mancini. And he talks about first, you got to make the sport fun. You got to make practice fun. So tell us at Twin Bridges, how do you make things fun for your players?
Yeah, a lot of times for us, it's like we promote putting music on sometimes for practice.
I want to come to practice.
Especially
what kind of music?
We usually let teams pick if we're gonna do that. We've heard everything from gangster rap to like Disney music. So I think it depends on the age.
Dire Straits.
Something probably. Depending on the day. But yeah, that's one thing we do. Another thing like we're actually sort of incorporating this year is like get out and play some street hockey. Like just have fun with it. Like nothing structured other than have equipment on so you don't kill each other, but just go have fun, play hockey again. And it's so a couple things like that just to make sure, like don't even think what you're doing, just go play.
I'm a big fan of the music at practice. Music really anytime.
How are you growing your club? I think here, and especially like if you look at this central corridor, you look at like the Kirkwood, Webster, even Chesterfield, there's kind of a built-in base of hockey. A lot of hockey players have come from there. Just the demographics lend itself that way. How are you getting younger kids interested in hockey? I know the Little Blues are great, but what are some of the grassroots things that you're doing over on the east side of the river to promote that?
Yeah, I mean, for us, I'd say our comes through our learn to skates and our learn to plays. We've been fortunate enough. We also, I would give them a shout out. Like we have great business administrative ladies, and I call them the lady gang. They're awesome. Our president's awesome, and so like we've grown 5 to 8% the last 2 years, which is pretty good for a medium-sized club. And but I think our learn to plays, learn to skates, like our learn to plays are always sold out. Mm-hmm. They're really good about getting into schools, giving out, like information and getting people in the rink. And then from there, it's our job, like we just talked about, for them to have fun, especially at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, like
Right.
just have fun. So that's sort of where we try to grow, because we've only got so many zip codes, and we only have, so much space we can pull from.
What we talk about fun practices. It sounds like you're trying to build this culture. How are you developing and really coaching your coaches? Because I think more than anything, what I've seen as being a part of a board and being a coach myself and a player before that, coaches, while they aren't out there scoring goals, they create the atmosphere where people want to show up, have fun, and learn how to score goals.
Yeah, for us, like we do monthly Zoom, like we'll do a monthly Zoom call meeting. I pretty much watch every single game that our club plays in some capacity, whether that's pulling up a period on Live Barn. Yeah, I usually have 2 or 3 phones going for Live Barn games. So I'm watching. So on top of that, like I'll clip things and I'll actually put it into our crossbars for the families to see too. So the families are also learning with the coaches and the parents. So it can be a collective.
So wait a minute. Hang on a second. You're doing this interactively, and then you're putting comments in the chat with things that you see that then parents can see.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
So then
I love it. It's real-time feedback from the director of hockey of their own youth hockey club. Where's the dinger?
I mean, again, our producer didn't move the bell over to our new studio here, but I'll give him the
run
ding.
over right now.
I know, right? I should.
He's smiling though still.
He's texting me a message I probably can't read on the show.
Like tonight, actually, after this, we're doing like a initial coaches pizza party. We'll do a quick little PowerPoint information, but then for all of us just to, talk hockey, talk the year, think ideas. Again, just like the kids and players, like the more, tight knit we can be, the better it's going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we try to be very transparent, or practice planning, whatever it is. Like I'm, pretty much available all the time.
Yeah. What are you most excited for this upcoming season?
For me, it's always like, did we pick teams correctly? Like we always have outside evaluators, no age, nobody does their own age group, things like that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it will fall on me if we have a bad year as an organization, even though it's youth hockey. So for me, like I love getting into the next season. I love getting into like, okay, here's how we can improve.
Right.
For us, like we implemented a rule where like we will move kids through December 31st.
Good.
So we treat it a lot like the NHL, the American League, like however you want to look at it, because, we're going to make a mistake. Like even with 420 kids, there's going to be a mistake made. So for me, like being competitive, it was my whole life. Like I like to get into like, how are we actually going to compete against everybody else?
Now, do you let the parents watch evaluations? Are they allowed into the rink, or do you black the walls out, or how's that work?
We do. We let everybody in. We've heard some clubs block everybody out. I think at the end of the day, you're going to still have the same problems or situations or phone calls. You can block out a Live Barn, you can block them out, but little Johnny is still going to be little Johnny, and it's still going to be their little Johnny. And that's fine. I mean, I've got a 3-year-old. I already feel it. So I don't think either way is wrong or right. I think it's just, for some parents, I think seeing it would help, and it might not help others. I mean,
well, I think it's really twofold. One, I can tell you from our past organization, we made the decision to close evaluations because, one, you didn't want the kids. We had kids who were literally looking up into the stands and sign languaging with their mom or dad on certain things. And then you also had parents who were, it was almost like looking over the evaluator's shoulders, because there's no way to hide you're an evaluator. You've got a clipboard and a pen or a pencil. So you're an evaluator. And so we just made that decision, and the outcome so far, I think, it's been good for us. But I think, again, to your point, it sounds like you've developed a very, very tight relationship where you're at least on a first name basis with just about everybody in your club. And you've built that equity where, there's a level of trust. And like you said, if a mistake's made, nothing's etched in stone until 11:59, December 31st. It's just, I would imagine you want to err on the side of having a player placed a little lower than expected, because it's never a fun conversation if it's the opposite way.
Yeah, in 2 years, we've never moved a kid down. We've always moved a kid up, and usually every year it's 4 or 5 kids, and there's some for us, like if a kid is hurt during tryouts or sick or vacations happen at the same time.
Yeah.
And we do know that he's probably say an A1 player, like we'll put him on A3 or B1 to start. So he's got to go prove that he is better than where, because if I'm a parent on the other side and my kid went through evals and somebody else's kid did not, and they're automatically in front of me, even though again you can tell a lot of times. But so that's one thing I think that helps us dwindle some of the.
I love that. So you got to earn your spot. So sorry the timing didn't work out. You were on vacation, but don't expect to come in at A1. You do have a spot. We're going to put you on a team, and if you are truly A1, then we'll be able to see that by December 31st, right?
Yep. It's usually, and it's usually, I always tell, I use the 2 words: you either want to be very effective or dominant, and if you are those 2 things, you are in the wrong spot.
What do you look at as you're looking at evaluating? I think we all can understand skill, but what are those things that you evaluate outside of skill? Is it compete level, decision making? There was an article that we highlighted a few weeks back, how kids should prepare for tryouts. Beyond just what goes on the ice, talk a little bit about what you're looking at. What are the eyes of a director focusing on when you walk into a rink and you see, 40 to 50 kids ready to go?
Yeah, it actually made me laugh because we over communicate probably, and we'll get the emails that we over communicate. But I had sent out an email prior to tryouts about preparation, and that included having matching socks, having matching laces, not having 20 different colors on your stick. And some people thought I was probably over dramatic about it, but to me, it's that does show preparation. It shows that you actually want to be there. Like if your stick looks like it's been taped in the last year, all those things, and those could be things like I personally notice. I don't know if our other evaluators work, because like I said, everybody sort of does their own thing and they aggregate to a system. But so we try to communicate like those things. Like, for me, it's, even if they're 10 or 12, like most of them, I'd say 50% do have aspirations to play outside of Twin Bridges. Like if you expect to be playing at a Central States or AAA level, like I don't know if a rolly bag at 12 UA1 is the best choice for them.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, there
thank
we go.
You. I don't think you should have a roller bag, period. But that's, I'm going to get on my soapbox about that.
I'm right there with you. So, but those are little things that like I'll look for.
And don't wrap your laces around your skates,
don't
boys
wrap them.
and girls. Do not wrap those laces.
I agree. They sell shorter laces. Also not a big fan of black laces. I think white laces make you look like a hockey player.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Just, you don't need the, I get special nights, but you don't need the 20 different colors on your skates. And
white or dark tape on the stick.
I think that's personal preference.
Yeah.
I think that's, for me, it didn't matter.
He wasn't taking many shots.
For me, it was white for a while. Like, it was white. I think that's a personal thing, but I think like I think you can tell a hockey player by how you look at them and how they walk in
when they're 50 years old.
How they rep people, that too. Yeah, we all need hip surgery.
That's true.
But how they represent themselves, for me, are you walking in sweatpants or night pants and a t-shirt, or did you comb your hair with a steak before you came? Like just little things like that. I think all those things matter. And then for us, besides that, just the skills, are you in shape? And I know and I don't say that like in a negative, mean way to 10 and 12-year-olds, obviously, but
right.
If you're going to be on a top team, can you go up and down the ice 3 times without wanting to keel over?
Let's put a pin in that really quick. We got to pay some bills here. So this half of Too Many Men on the Mic is brought to you by 5B Designs, St. Louis hockey families and business leaders. If you need custom gear that stands out and stands for something, it's time to meet 5B Designs. Founded by Shannon Brahini, a proud St. Louis mom and entrepreneur, 5B Designs is a woman-owned small business that brings purpose to custom apparel. Whether you're suiting up your youth or high school hockey team or leveling up your company's branded swag, 5B delivers top-notch quality with a personal touch. If you need a team store, not a problem. Corporate polos or or event giveaways, they got you covered. 5B makes it easy with fast turnaround, flexible service, and designs your players or employees will love to wear. We're all rocking 5B designs on our lids right now with the Too Many Men on the Hat, CCM, and Bauer lids. So it's not just about great gear. Shannon built 5B with her customer service first mentality. So check them out at stores.inksoft.com/5B designs. That's the word 5, and see what purpose-driven apparel looks like.
And we're back in the trio format. I'm really liking this trio format.
How often he didn't get to play center much in his career.
Oh,
funny thing is, I did in Manchester. Cavs almost a point a game. Just saying. And then I got traded.
Well, before we get back into the second half of our show here, this segment of Too Many Men on the Mic is brought to you by Big Bear Tournaments, your go-to for unforgettable youth hockey travel experiences. Big Bear hosts spectacular tournaments in some of the coolest hockey towns across North America. Our tournaments are filling faster than ever, so act quickly or risk missing out. We bring the highest value and best competitive experience for all age groups, longer periods, incredible destinations, and some of the best championship awards you can find. Mention Too Many Men on your application to qualify for special show listener discounts. Ask about our club discount as well to save thousands of dollars on registration for multiple teams. I want to talk to you about that, Tyler. Many clubs have already taken advantage. Smart clubs. Whether you're playing in St. Louis, Springfield, Kansas City, Chicago, Lexington, Knoxville, Louisville, you name it, Big Bear has you covered. Okay, so I got to add on to this, Tyler. Since you're new to the show, I got to share a super cool thing about Big Bear and what they're doing this year with wholesale pricing. And as the director of hockey for your club, if I could ask you to spread the word to your team managers, because I think if you can collect your team managers, you can lower your team fees. So what Big Bear does is if you book more than one tournament at a time, they're going to give you a discount. So instead of paying full fare, as an individual team, if you're able to pull those team managers together, get them organized, pick a couple Big Bear tournaments to go throughout the year, you're going to lower your team fees. I think parents are going to be happy. That's one. Well, it's a check you're still going to write. It's just a smaller check that you're going to write.
Much smaller check, and those team fees, maybe you squeeze in an extra tournament.
There you go.
All the lady gang.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get them introduced after the show. When I've back to the evaluations, piece, one of the things I'm looking at is what are the, if it's not just a full ice scrimmage, if you're doing some form of drills, what are the kids doing in line? Because that maturity level, that speaks to, okay, this player may have the ability to play at a certain level, but if he or she can't, focus, and that's okay, then we need to make sure that they're properly placed. Not just for them, but also for their potential teammates. And I look on the bench as well, want to see what these, hopefully the kids aren't showing each other up and, they're out there working their hardest, but I am always looking kind of between the lines when I'm helping out with evaluations.
You mean you don't love slap shots at the wall continuously?
Not, it's funny, not a fan. Although Mike Sullivan a couple weeks ago at the Level 5 symposium was talking about how he's like, hey, at the NHL level, we got guys that don't get into the circle as well. And he goes, one of them happened to be Gino Malkin.
See, this is what you get to do when you're a Jedi. You achieve Level 5 status. You get to reference Mike Sullivan.
Sully.
Oh, he's Sully to you.
Oh man. Well, we're having the chirps do come.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
So tell us what the long-term vision is for Twin Bridges. Where are you guys headed? What steps are you taking to achieve it? What do you see for your organization in the next 3 to 5 years? It sounds like you've had some really good growth here the last 2 years. More of that and something else?
Yeah, for us, like we're I think we're maybe a little bit different in the sense of like I would say we look at our organization as a feeder system to Central States and AAA, where the game's changed a little bit, where now you can do prospects and now you can do all this stuff at your clubs. And we just didn't really see the value in doing that. Obviously, again, you'll have parents argue it's more ice touches, it's this. I think I'm still more quality over quantity guy. So for us, like, I wouldn't say right now, like growing that way is on our radar. Just because, our goal is to move players on. Like that is one of our goals, but we aren't deep enough to probably go some of those routes. And we realize that, and that's fine. Growth wise, I think as long as we continue to get in there at schools and learn to plays, like that'll continue to grow for us. But for me, as long as as long as kids are developing, as long as they're having fun doing it, as long as we can keep 98% of our families happy, because it's never going to be 100%. That's I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're achieving what we need to be achieving as a youth organization. Hopefully we continue to get more coaches involved, especially with playing experience or higher coaching.
Yeah.
But that comes with time.
So let's pivot to coaches, or pivot back to coaches, because one of the things that Drew and I did at the recommendation of a very wise man who happens to be our producer today was we got together a focus group of the audience that we wanted to speak to. And a big chunk of that audience are parents and novice coaches. And so we had a focus group before we even got on the air. And one of the topics that came up and amongst a huge list was, what do you do if your coach is quote unquote unorganized or really isn't the best at practice planning? So how have you, helped your coaches, especially the ones that maybe didn't grow up playing hockey or or new to being on their skates, were kind of voluntold, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, because obviously sometimes we just throw coaches or dads into places that they aren't ready for. So for me, like I said, I'm really always available. Like if someone calls me and says, "Hey, I've got practice. I don't really know, what I want to do." Like for example, like I had a 14U coach as soon as, because we do older groups first, then we moved to our younger groups, and he's like, "Hey, I've never coached 14U before. Like his son just got moved up. I know it's a lot more body contact. So like, I'll write him a plan, send it to him, and then just say, if you have questions or concerns, or if you don't understand something, give me a call, or we'll talk about it, or Zoom, whatever we have to do. In our monthly coaches meetings, like I'm a big believer that you have to be able to skate to play hockey, obviously, but like truly skate, not just beyond skates.
Super important.
They say it is. So for us, like I do preach like 15 minutes of every practice, some type of skating, with pucks, without, whatever, they want to do, into, I say a topic, whether it's quick releases that day, or whether it's, angles or whatever it may be. And then back on the fun thing, like we try to end every practice with a competition of some type. So it gives coaches a direction of at least somewhere to start. Our organization pays for ice hockey systems for the whole organization. So they're able to get on, do drills, things like that, share with each other.
Jared likes to draw on that software.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's great.
And again, like we have a live barn for the whole club. So they have resources to learn, and then, myself for support and ideas and things like that.
You want to drop your favorite drill?
Did you tell the 14
topic? Maybe.
Did you tell the 14U hockey coach that needed help? Maybe put on pads.
I did not tell him that. I have done that before, and it's actually fun. It's fun. Or the hitting pads, like the football hitting pads, pull those out.
Right.
It's like, hey, that kid that has maybe been chirping you for a little bit, you might give him a little extra.
Well,
sorry, Mom.
It's funny because I jumped in. We coach high school. We coach at Ladue, and we run the summer development, skates. I jumped in on a game where I think it was a 3-on-3, and I just had gloves, helmet, skates. Took a puck off the shin. The player goes, "Oh my God, coach, you okay?" I'm like, Fine, don't worry about it. They get off the ice. I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah, he's saying fine through gritted teeth.
Fine, don't worry about it. That's how you block a shot, kid.
When you let your pants, you're just dripping.
Oh,
like, I'm okay.
I mean, I'm good. It's just now healed up. I was like, I'm good. I lost my train of thought, but Drew's going to catch.
So I mean, I think you kind of answered there with a good playbook, right? You've got make yourself available as a resource for your coaches. You've got skating as a component. You've got a specific topic. I would say for a new coach out there, maybe that is, or a newer coach, what did or didn't you like about the last game you played? And if there was one area of your game that you wanted to focus on to improve, maybe that would be a topic. And then ending it with some kind of competition.
Yeah.
Right. Something that's fun, that's going to get the kids competing and getting it amped up while also adding an element of fun to it. So I think that's a good skeleton for any newer coach that's out there who might be saying, where do I start or how do I get organized? The cussing piece, I don't know. I don't know that if you can correct that other than, there's swear jars, there's things like that. And depending on what level of coaching you're coaching really young players, 6U, 8U,
I'm not a proponent of cussing at anyone.
No, no, not at.
Did you play for Jeff Brown?
Edit that.
Are you touching that one?
Nope.
I hit a nerve.
Edit that. Sorry, Jeff. I think.
Well, I do want to add that the focus group that this came out of was a group of moms, and sometimes I feel like people look at hockey and they go, "Oh, it's a bunch of dudes playing hockey," and if the kid's a boy, well, we're going to go talk to the dad. But we've talked about this a lot. Look, mom's the one that's driving to practice. Mom's the one that's making sandwiches. Mom's the one that's putting the kids to sleep at night. Mom is a integral part of the youth hockey journey. So this question is straight from a group of moms that we had,
and they've obviously observed it, So, I mean, that's kind of the premise behind this show. Really was in the course of our over almost 15 years of being hockey parents and coaches and working with parents. The questions we could write a book, as I'm sure you can as well, about all the questions and really the misconceptions. A lot of people come to hockey because they watched the NHL, and at 6U, 8U, 10U, 12U, it ain't the NHL. Spoiler alert. In college, it ain't the NHL. And so
it's not the NHL until you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And then you want a steak, so you don't want the soggy sandwiches. But
I was thinking the sleeper bus.
But let's talk a little bit about the, when we talk in hockey terms, we use a lot of jargon, net front, second quick, first quick, all these things that have to do with things like what's a forecheck, what's a back check. I think as we've built this, we're trying to build this community. It's beyond just like the feel of hockey. It's like, hey, let's start to understand this, become more than just a hockey parent, become a hockey fan.
One of the things you said earlier that stuck out to me is you said, can you skate up and down the ice 3 times without getting winded? Tell me if you've had this scenario happen in your hockey coaching journey. Talking to a player, what position do you play? I'm a center. Okay. If you're a center, then you better be able to skate and skate and skate and skate and skate. And to the point that some coaches that I have experienced firsthand might be saying 2, 3, 4 times to the kid, get off the ice, get off the ice. You got to change. So if you're going to be a center, boy, you better like to skate, and you better be able to skate a ton, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We just went through the 12U player who probably has the most skill to be on a different team, but couldn't get up and down the ice. And we have those open conversations with them, and they either go well or they don't go well. And it's just, that's how it is.
Yeah, I've even gone a little bit beyond just the center. I really look at things at what position are you playing at any given moment. So if you've got the puck on your stick, you're F1. Even if you're a defenseman, you're F1. And so you have to be able to carry that play, make a decision. And after you make that decision, if you make that first pass or you decide to carry that puck, now what's the next thing? And everything has come into this decision-making process, keeping your head up, scanning, as what they're calling it. And so I look at it as, you could be the quote unquote center and you could be a defenseman in the same shift. You have to be able to skate because you got to get your butt back and you have to get your butt deep.
Well, but you've also probably heard parents say, my kid's not an F1 or a defenseman. Mm-hmm. He just wants to score. Why is the coach telling me to forecheck?
Because you'll score more goals if you forecheck. It's proven.
In today's world, it's just a unit of 5.
Yeah, it's a 5-man unit. Absolutely.
You have your superstar, but other than that, it's a unit of 5.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're moving.
Well,
moving and you're interchanging.
And I don't know what you think of this, but when I hear play with pace, it is moving the puck and then moving your feet. Moving the puck, then move your feet.
To me, it's always the second part, moving your feet. I'll give you an example. I won't say names, but there is a captain on one of my boys' teams. And the reason that this kid is captain, I know it. I've seen it with my own eyes. He never stops moving his feet. Is he the most skilled player? No. Is he the only player on the team that moves his feet the entire time? Yes. And that's why he is the captain.
Yeah, for sure. What are some let's trade some more stories here. Well, I'm not the one who name dropped Jeff Brown.
I didn't get a warning on that one.
Some of the give me some of the funniest questions, or like, I can't believe that came out of a player's mouth.
Oh man.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
No, it'll be clean. I mean, like, I just remember one time, I don't know, this isn't, it's like one of those stories that's probably not that funny, but like, I had a kid at practice one day, just how, one of our, and he goes, I don't have to do this drill. And I'm like, okay, why don't you have to do this drill? Like, this is the drill we're doing. But he goes, well, I played video games all day, so I don't have to do this. And I was like, there's the door. It's right. It's right there.
Patrick Laine?
I think it's just like that, like just little things like that, where like kids, like they have the best reasons why they don't think they have to do something. Or it's like, a couple of weeks ago, there was a kid just chucking pucks at a kid in the back of the head. Helmets on. And I look over and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, you have 3 pucks in your hand and I'm watching you chuck pucks at him. Just drops them.
I'm glad
things like that. Like you get mad because you know that they're, like we talked about, shooting pucks in lines or tripping each other, but you're like, okay, you're also 10 years old. You have to take a step back a little bit. And a lot of those kids nowadays, attention is hard. Yeah, it really is. So I've learned that you either have to say, hey, take a knee. I know I'm off track now, but like,
this is great.
It's, like, it's a different world than it was even 10 years ago with like attention spans.
I thought it was just me. I've had 2 different instances of kids where I've literally watched the kid, look at the kid, look down at the puck, look at the kid, pull the puck back on his stick and shoot the puck at the kid. And then you got to pull him off and explain it to him. Now the kids were young, but a great point about the attention span. So what that tells me is in whatever way we can get the kids moving, right? Keep them engaged. And what's great is in ADM models, there's lots of small area games and station-based kinds of things that you can incorporate to keep things moving, so you don't have a lot of those instances that are coming up.
And you guys are you guys are one of 19 ADM USA Hockey.
We are. That was before my time that they got.
Oh, you should take credit for it.
Yeah, you should take credit for it.
I think it's Craig Duffy. I think I got to give him credit. Otherwise,
all right, good name drop for Craig Duffy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I usually call kids out like, okay, if you don't want to do this, you don't want to be here, like, there's the door, because most of them will not call your bluff. Yeah. Until the one does call your bluff, and then he's standing outside the door getting undressed, and you're like, oh, I missed this one.
Really needed him in that. really needed him in that next game.
Yeah. Really needed you to not call my bluff. But it's happened.
Hey, remember when we talked before practice that you were?
we were playing. Yeah. No, it didn't work that way.
Well, I mean, not to kind of stay on the kid topic. I remember this was just in the spring. I was about to get on the ice at Centene and didn't realize that one of my kids was on the ice in a skate beforehand. He sees me come on in a men's league game and he's just chirping me. And then he decided to stay and watch warm-ups. And so I had to go upper 90 and I missed the net like 4 times. So I come back to the bench. He goes, Coach, you ain't going to score like that. You need to go shoot 100 pucks.
You're skating extra hard that game.
I was. Yeah. That's why I took the summer off.
Well, so clearly you made a portion of your living in the net front. And so, for parents that we're getting into isms and a little bit of jargon here. So net front, we always talk about protecting the house. I feel like, especially when you're with kids at 6U and 8U and before we get to full ice, and the importance of protecting the house. And then when we get to, when those kids get up to the Bantam age, protecting the house then includes an element of body contact. So I'm just out of curiosity, as a man who's lived in front of the net, How do you teach some of your graduating peewees to step into the wonderful world of full contact youth hockey?
Yeah, I think I was at the wrong net front. I should have switched that a long time ago. But, for us, I think it's trying to get them not to be scared.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think a lot of them have it in their head that I'm going to get a concussion or I'm going to get hurt. Usually I tell them, hey, doctors are really good. You're going to be okay.
You're wearing a lot of gear.
You have $1,000 worth of gear on, like mom and dad did pay for that. So you should be okay. So I think just trying to get the misconception of like, oh, I'm moving up to Bantam and now I'm going to hit and now I'm going to get a concussion. Cause it is a serious thing, but it's also, it was so big talked about 3-4 years ago that it was like in kids' heads, like
no pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the moms out there, giving you a clap on that one right there.
So I think that like trying and then just coming up with drills where they feel comfortable to get body contact we'd rather our players battle where maybe it's to the point of a penalty in practice so that when it comes to games, if, you get a little shove in the hip or you take a little cross check to the arm, like you're not throwing your hands up and acting like you just got shot.
Well, and at peewee level, body contact starts, you're taking hands away, is angle of attack, making sure that you're first on puck, but if you get that step on somebody, you're going to dig out a puck or get a 50-50 battle, you take their hands away, it takes their eyes away, and next thing you know, you've won a battle. So, did you have fun today?
I had a blast. We could go for hours.
Oh, well, we could.
Right.
But first off, thank you for all you do.
Hang on. I got one ask.
Okay,
I got one ask because we're right at the cusp of the Labor Day weekend. This is such a great time for so many reasons. It's also a great time because we're introducing a new segment on the backside of Labor Day. And we're going to start it off with favorite drill and why. So in the same vein of Bob Mancini, where fun is his middle name, we're going to go interview kids around the St. Louis metro area, and we're going to ask them what their favorite hockey drill is and why.
Can't wait.
Could we get your support out of Twin Bridges coming out to one of your practices and interviewing a couple of your players and hearing their favorite drill and why?
Always invited.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, that's it for 2 Minute Man on the Mic this week. Thanks for listening. Thank you to Tyler Elbrecht of Twin Bridges for joining us.
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Have a great weekend. If you're in the mood, come to Tillis Park and watch some high school hockey players fall down on a baseball field.
Full contact kickball. Let's go.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, guys.